Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriet Cole. As always, honored to be with you today. And there's something that I close all of my broadcasts with. I say, have a great day and make it count. And you know how we can say things, say them all the time, it becomes a thing that you hear, thing that you say, but what does it mean? What does it mean to make each day, each moment count? What does it mean to make your life count? Think about that. So, obviously, for those of you who know me, who've connected in the past, you know that my mother recently passed away. Very recent, just a couple weeks ago. And so it's very fresh for me, uh, her passing, and also the beautiful celebration of life that we had for her, where so many people from all different moments in her life spoke about who she was and how she impacted them. And so, of course, I've been processing this and thinking about it a lot. And what was clear to me in life with her, but also in death, as I listened to so many different people share memories of being with her, is how she made her life count. And it was really in service of others, in service of goodness, in service of the truth, in service of love. And this was described in very specific ways by different people, some whom I knew, some I'd never met before that moment. And it just got me to thinking, if you do a review of your life, you, me, whoever it is, but we're in this covenant together right now. So think about yourself. If you do a review of your life and imagine, what would people say about you when you leave? What will people say about you while you're here? What do people say about you? What do you say about yourself? What do you think about how you spend your time on the planet? If you had to give yourself a report card, what grade would you give yourself? How would you assess the way that you live? And I think this is such an important thing to contemplate, because we're often just living, going through it, being busy, checking off boxes, trying to get all the things done that we have put on the list, if we put anything on the list. I'm a big list person. Or just going through the motions. Oh, I got to get through this. I got to do these things. At the end of the day, if you just look at today, or since for many of us today is just starting, look at yesterday. Did you make that day count? Did you do anything that you could herald for yourself? On this day, I did X. On this day, I did something for myself where I treated myself well. On this day, I helped someone else. On this day, I honored the values that I grew up with. On this day, what? Answer that question for yourself. I see here's Jackie Thornton saying, good morning from class of 79. That's Western High School, y'all, in Baltimore City. Hi, Jackie. And hello to everybody. Tell me where you are. I'd love to know where everybody is. It's really fun to know that. It's really nice, too, to get a sense of who connects in this Dreamleapers Inspiration space. And as I'm out and about in different places, I'm discovering that there are many people who do connect, who may not write in, so we don't always know, but we're here giving each other a big hug. But I want you to think seriously about this for a moment. And we can just look at yesterday or the past week, whatever is easiest for you. It's really in the moment thinking. If you do a review of your life over the past 24 hours, past 48 hours, past week, month, year, whatever guardrail you want to put up, whatever you want to use as a measuring stick, what have you done that you think really counts for making your life better, someone else's life better? What have you done? Can you point to anything that you've done? And it's interesting. Yesterday, I was at a gathering for Memorial Day, and usually I'm in a very optimistic mood, and it wasn't that I was not optimistic, but I'll just tell you what happened. There was a person who whose child had just graduated from Howard University, my alma mater, with the highest of honors, and was about to figure out what's next. And so I was very congratulatory, of course. And then I had one of those moments when I said, well, and what does that get you? I think this young person had graduated magna cum laude. And I graduated from Howard, summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa, which is, you can't get higher than that as far as I know. And I said, and what did that get me? And my friend who was hosting the party was like, "What? What did you just say?" She said, "It got you everything. Look at all the things that you have accomplished, Harriet." And, it was interesting because, of course, I know that there are many things that I've accomplished, but at this moment in my work and my business and the economy, it's tight. And I didn't say anything to her other than just how I reacted. And she said to me, "Money isn't everything. All of the great things that you have achieved and that have impacted other people are really what counts, and you can never forget that." So, each of us, no matter what, we have these tender moments, these weak moments, and my friend it was the most perfect timing because probably some of you have these moments where you're like, "Okay, well, I checked off this box and this one and this one and this one, but there's this other box. And if I only can check off that one, then something great is going to happen." And she put the pause in the moment. It's like greatness is everywhere, which of course I know, we know, but you don't always feel it, right? And I appreciated a couple of things that I said out loud what I was feeling because it was a tender moment. And when you feel safe enough to say whatever is going on inside of you, it can help you to have clarity. Because if you hold things in all the time, you're just stewing on whatever it might be. And stewing in discomfort by yourself often just leads to more discomfort. So I felt it was a good thing to say out loud. It was very knee jerk to say out loud what I was feeling, but then to have someone, this loving person, say, "Oh, let's have a point of clarification. Let's give a different context to this moment." And I think we are truly blessed when we have people in our lives who, and I say this a lot, who tell us the truth the way that we are able to hear it, right? So I want to go to the quote for today because I think it's a perfect time for us to examine. The quote I picked says, "It does not matter how long you are spending on the earth, how much money you have gathered, or how much attention you have received. It is the amount of positive vibration you have radiated in life that matters." And that is from Amit Ray. Okay, so everybody sit still for a second. I want you to close your eyes and listen. This is a very poignant quote, I think. So listen to it and take it in. I'm going to read it again. "It does not matter how long you are spending on the earth, how much money you have gathered, or how much attention you have received. It is the amount of positive vibration you have radiated in life that matters." Isn't that beautiful? So, we talk about longevity and think about how long people live. I talk about my mother, she lived to be 95 years old. That is such a long time on the planet, right? Doing good every day. I mean, literally on the day that my mother died, she still you could see that inner smile. The peace that just was Doris Cole was clearly present because that's how she lived, and she lived to be 95. And then you may have seen in the news, Chanel Jones, who's on the Today Show, she's also in my Jack and Jill chapter. Her husband just passed away. He was in his 40s. Young man. In your 40s, that's like this ascent time when lots of things click in, and often you're just building and growing, and it looks like the world is just before you, and he lost his life. But when he was here, he made it count. He and his wife have 3 beautiful children, and by all accounts, it seems like they had a beautiful life together. It does not matter how long you are spending on the earth. That's what Amit Ray says. It doesn't matter. What do you do with that time? Some people live for a long time and they're miserable. Who wants that? But as in Chanel's husband's case, he was not here long, but what did he do with that time? It does not matter how long you are spending on the earth. What do you do with that time? How much money you have gathered? And we go to money, and tender spot for me because as an entrepreneur in New York City for more than 30 years, it goes up and down and up and down. And in this interesting world of anti-DEI, a lot of business owners are having some struggles. But I think of people with every amount of money, every type of resources, from no resources to an abundance, overabundance of resources. And we're all in the same boat. I have a very close friend who is very wealthy, who has a child who has had illness for most of her life. There's no amount of money that has been able to cure her of her illness. When you have it and you can't make it, you can't change things because it's not money that does it. And you realize, money can be helpful, absolutely, but it's not everything. As I'm on the board of a charity called Prasad that does a lot of work in India, Mexico, and in the United States, helping people who have very limited resources to have the best lives possible. And I remember traveling to India and noticing in one community, one rural area, that every other person had on shoes. And on unpaved roads, on dirt roads, there were many people whose feet had become their shoes, and the soles of their feet were like leather. Their toes were kind of webbed. The constitution of their feet had changed based upon how they were moving through space and how their feet had become their shoes, and they weren't complaining. They were not complaining. They were not bemoaning, "Oh, I don't have." They were living and making that moment count and walking with dignity and pride and intention. Do you do that? How often do you complain? How often do you worry? How often do you get caught up in what maybe doesn't matter that much? I know I do. I know that I do, and I am blessed to have people around me who check me on it. "Mm, maybe that doesn't quite make sense, what you're thinking right now. Think differently. Have a different approach," I really want us to think deeply about this because I say make it count every day, and I mean it every day. And I think sometimes we just go through the motions and don't consider what does it mean to make the moment count? What does it mean? I want to share, I see a lot of you all are writing, so I want to share some of the things that you're saying. Uh, let's see. This is from the Only Mel Cruise. Those feelings may have been a result of your grief. Ah, thank God for a friend that brings honest clarity to you. Thank you for saying that, Mel. You know what? Grief is real. And it's been something pretty rare for me to experience, thank God. One of the things that has occurred, what has happened, is time is different. But what my team and I have been working on things, I'm like, you have to check me on time because my understanding and assessment of time and how much time is between this and that, it's just changed. This suspension of reality is real. And I think because, as I've shared, I am so grateful for having my mother for so long. But because we had her for so long, it's weird that she's not here. My sister Stephanie and I have just traveled to different places. And we both said, now is when we would call mom and say, I got here. And she's not here anymore. So we told each other, which is great, but it's not the same thing. So I'm learning what grief is and how it manifests for me. And thank you for pointing that out because sometimes you don't realize the impact that loss has on those still living. Now let's see, here's another. Victor Thompson says, learning when to say enough. I had an epiphany that I didn't need to say or do anything. Enough. Yes. When I was looking for quotes, I was looking for quotes about peace. That's how I got to this quote. I was thinking about claiming peace and really sitting with peace and and allowing it to fill our beings. And there was one that said, sometimes you just don't have to say anything. You can truly have peace when you're silent. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to do anything sometimes. Sometimes you can just be. And when you do that, then what happens? Here's another person. I can't read the name, but someone extending prayers of comfort, strength, love, and all else you stand in need of. Thank you. Thank you. And I offer that to everyone who is in a tender space. Many of us are. Many of us are going through things. In my case, it's the loss of my mother, which is very raw still. Um, Chanel, the loss of her husband. Other people, loss of a job, loss of a relationship. Whatever it is, it's real. If it's real for you, it's real. And sometimes we have to treat ourselves very tenderly. And this is not the time to reach out and ask someone else to do anything for you because my experience is usually that gets your feelings hurt. It doesn't mean that we don't need each other, but you got to look within first. What can you do to heal yourself? What can you do to sit with yourself and allow yourself to just be? Allow yourself to experience whatever's happening without succumbing to pain, weakness, frailty. Succumbing to it, I don't believe in that, and I've never read anything that suggests that succumbing to that space of darkness is a good thing. Surrender, the Bible talks about surrender. Every spiritual text talks about surrender, surrendering to God, understanding that that force that is greater than you, that lives within you, that connection to the divine, and that offering of your being to the greatest being, surrender is different than succumbing. It involves trust. You surrender to the greatness of God. That's powerful. You need to have faith in order to be able to go there. But when you do, and you know that you can rest comfortably in that space, then awareness comes. That's why silence is so important. Silence allows you to hear, to know, to be in communion with the greatness of the universe. So, would you like to do a little meditation now? Feels like a good time for that. Let's take a few minutes. You can put your feet flat on the floor, your hands with your thumb and forefinger touching, and put them on your knees. Sit up straight, but relax your shoulders. One thing I know I do a lot is to hold tension in my shoulders. Relax your shoulders. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes. This is all about you communing with yourself and the divine, so you don't need to look at anything. And then just breathe. Take some natural but deeper breaths than would be your normal breathing. Fill your lungs and exhale gently. Just breathe. Where I am, it's in my happy place. And I can hear the birds outside. They're talking to each other this morning. I'm not far from the beach, and so there's a nice, clean smell in the air. And happiness. Birds bring happiness. It's so wonderful when you get to hear them. So as I get quiet, I hear birds. No people, no horns. In New York City, I often hear emergency vehicles when we do our meditation. Now it's just birds. Notice what you hear, what's in your environment. Don't get distracted by it, just notice. Just breathe. Be with yourself. Thank yourself for taking this moment to be present. Give yourself permission to be still. Give yourself the gift of being with yourself, not distracted, present, open to the moment. And as you sit quietly, imagine today, all day, your intention will be to make your life count. Today, as you move through space, as you communicate with others, as you do your work, as you walk down the street, you will make your life count. It could be the tiniest gesture or a huge action, but with intention, you will make your life count. Being conscious and intentional allows you to put one foot in front of the other and walk toward a goal and stay the course when distractions come your way. Today, you're going to make your life count. And you're going to note what you did to make your life count. You're going to write it down. Feel the energy of accountability, of trust, of faith. While your eyes are still closed, Fallon, bring the quote up. I want to read it again while folks are in meditation space. It does not matter how long you are spending on the earth, how much money you have gathered, or how much attention you have received. It is the amount of positive vibration you have radiated in life that matters. Hold on to that. We live in a culture that you click boxes for how many people like you, how many people are paying attention to you on social, who recognizes you. Let people recognize you for the goodness in you. Live your own goodness every day because it's the way to live. Amit Ray says, it does not matter how long you are spending on the earth, how much money you have gathered, or how much attention you have received. It is the amount of positive vibration you have radiated in life that matters. Remember this as you go through your day. And now we just have a couple minutes left, so please open your eyes. Virginia says, it is so essential that we pay attention to how we live this life. Yes, make sure we present ourselves on purpose. Yes, on purpose. Here's Kimberly sending hugs from Detroit. Be peaceful today. Yes. Imagine if you hold on to peace, if you choose to live in peace. Timyas Purdue, hello. Been a minute since we've connected. Nice to see you here. D'Angelo, always good to see you. All of you who are here, thank you for being in this covenant. Thank you for trusting that this is a valuable space that you can use to start your week. And also, please know you can access this space in just a couple of minutes by being intentional. I tell this story a lot, but the fashion designer Norma Kamali, I interviewed her a while back, and she told me that sometimes when things get tense, she will go in the bathroom at her business, at her store, and sit on top of the toilet top and just meditate for 3 minutes. Do some deep breathing, like what we do. Short. Now, long meditations are amazing, but the fact that you can change your energy, you can reconnect to your greatness in 2 or 3 minutes. We do it all the time here. You don't need me to do it. You can do it yourself. When you feel undone, when you feel low, when you feel that you're not fully engaging your power, steal away. Do some deep breathing, meditate, invite goodness to fill your being. It works. It works because we do it together. You can do it on your own. It works. And then you go back to the message for the moment. Make your life count. If you feel like you're off center, don't just give in to that. Do some breathing, do some welcoming of goodness into your being and recenter yourself. You know how on Waze, if you look at the map and it's going over here, there's a little place that says recenter. So recenter yourself when you need it. And by the way, that kind of course correction happens all day long. Don't just allow yourself to veer off and go wherever in your thoughts, your words, or your deeds. Recenter yourself. Have control over yourself. And then see what happens. It's really beautiful what we can do for ourselves. We choose to do so. So thank you all for joining today. I hope that this moment together helps you to feel empowered, to understand the power that we all hold. And as you go forth in this week, make your life count. You can, moment to moment. And life gets better when each of us does that. So until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.